How's everybody doing? I ran this saw yesterday and it ran really good, but then started acting funny on me. So I am going to pull this carburetor off. See, I initially thought it's an issue with my coil or spark plug, and I changed the spark plug. Still happened. I changed the coil. Still happened. And I changed the flywheel. Still happened. So I've changed all the electronics, and I've looked at the looked up the specs for what spark plug I need, and same spark plug. Look at how ugly that is. Oh my goodness. And spark plug, same thing, you know. Coil, flywheel, same issues. So all that's left is carburetor. So I'm going to be pulling this carburetor out of here, opening it up, see if I can't figure out what's going on. Yeah, it's got the insulators in it. Alright, so these repeating what I was told, these particular models can have heat transfer from the cylinder up into the carburetor and heat the carburetor up with the mounting bolts. Okay, these. So the heat comes from the cylinder, heats the bolt up, bolt heats the carburetor up, and causes a hot start issues or vapor locking in the carburetor itself. You see these plastic things? These are insulators that are supposed to keep that heat from transferring to the carburetor, and that was kind of their remedy for that issue. So let's see if I can release enough pressure there to pull that off without it leaking everywhere. Alright. I'm going to inspect my gasket here. That looks good. This is a Walbro HDA. So I'm gonna pull this thing apart here, but first I'm gonna go blast it with some air. Alright, now I'm gonna check my screen down in here and see if I got any obstruction, because what happened was I retuned it, and for some reason after I filled up, it got real lean on me. Or not super lean. I ran it for a bit like that. Probably shouldn't have, but I did. And then so I had to back the idle way out to get it to run. slower. And then I made some cuts with it, and then I turned the high speed, I opened it up a little bit, and then it snapped back to normal. So I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm guessing it's possible that the circuits could be stopped, maybe the high-speed circuit. So I'm gonna go in and blow it out. So yep, bear with me. Take these needles out of here. That's my low speed. My high speed. One's threaded larger than the other, so you can't accidentally mess it up. I'm gonna go blow through this. Now, one way you do this is you stick, I like to use WD-40, but I can't find my WD-40. And you blow through here and make sure you got you can see it. There's no obstruction there. Then you check your low speed. Low speed's good. Go blow it out again. So since this is a ported saw, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up the I'm going to crank open the needle just a little more to give me a bit more fuel, and I'm going to see if that will work. Alright, so I cranked it open just a little bit. So I'm gonna put my needles back in and reset them to standard and blow them off first. Yeah, this thing runs exceptionally well when it's running good. Like, it's one of my best cutting saws. It doesn't have the it doesn't have the grunt that Makita does, the 6800, but obviously it's not. It's a smaller saw. But I guarantee you that this would give that saw a run for its money in anything almost up to 28 inches. It's a lot smaller too, because it's on the same frame as a 55 Husky, so it's real light, which is really nice. That 6800 is on the heavy side, but I tell you what, it would make this saw would make an excellent pulpwood to chip and saw, professional saw. For those that aren't familiar with the term, chip and saw is like really small saw logs that only have a few pieces of lumber in it, and then they chip everything else into pulp. That's real popular in this area because of the way our forests are managed. They typically don't let them. You're typically clear cutting again around 20 years, if that. Sometimes it's may even be faster. But they have a genetically modified strain of yellow pine in the in the loblolly variety that grows really fast. And this saw would be excellent excellent cutting something like that. It's got a lot of power to it. You'll see when I release the video, if you haven't already. If I haven't released it already. I'm going to check the piston and cylinder to make sure I didn't burn it up. I hope this works. 'cause this is one of my favorite saws, and man, I've been fighting this thing since the winter, since I built it, to be honest. It'd be real nice to, I think I'm gonna put a plug in it. I can see it leaking. The decomp, I can see crud leaking out. Put that back on, kill switch back in there. Well, I forgot to put this back in there, but I should be able to, yeah, there we go. That was like the best design in my opinion. The triggers that just the triggers that get pushed in, like that sit on a post. That way you can just kind of move it out and move it back in. I'm gonna go get a zip tie and zip tie the fuel line. So as these zip ties and stuff so as these zip tie or these fuel lines and stuff get some age on them, what'll happen is they will stretch, and when they're on these plastic inlets, they tend to be a little smaller than the aluminum inlets, and it's never a bad idea to zip tie it to make sure it's on there nice and tight. Let's see what else. I'm gonna take the plug out. That's what I'm gonna do. Or I'm gonna plug the decomp. Pull the decomp out and put one of these plugs in here. Sometimes I'll put the Yama bond on the threads just to be safe, but it's got 2 crush washers on it,